Thank you. How are you, Bonnie?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. Great to meet you via Zoom. It's the best we can do right now, so that's okay. Congratulations on this. I watched the first 4 that they sent me, and it is really good. Now I'm just chomping to watch the rest of it. Now, I have to ask you, is it a no-brainer when somebody comes up to you and says, want to do a show that's created by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost?
The answer is yeah, it's a no-brainer. And I grew up watching Spaced and their films, but Spaced was like the place where I met them and fell in love with them. And honestly, my character spends most of their time with Nick's character Gus, and I was obviously having an out-of-body experience for at least the first 3 weeks of filming, because just would never have guessed I would be that lucky. Yeah.
No pun intended, really, because right. Because your character, well, why don't you set it up for us? Because it's an interesting premise. So set up the series for us.
So Astrid, the character I play, when we first meet her, she is a bit of a mystery. She appears seemingly from nowhere. She's on the run. She seems very alone. She has no friends or family around her, but she does have a massive entourage of ghosts and ghouls and sort of flaming spirits. She runs into, is very nearly run over by Nick and Samson, Gus and Elton.
Yes.
And in those 2 slightly strange men, she not only discovers sort of a bit of temporary safety, but also discovers that they are so-called paranormal enthusiasts, and that these might be the kind of ghost busting experts that she desperately needs for her huge ghost problem.
It's fun to watch it because you are the first person that we see. Like, scene opens, it's you, and I don't want to give anything away because it's a cool thing that happens, but you've got all these ghosts following you, every time you look. Now, I have to ask you, is that something that you react to nothing, or did you have somebody there kind of as your focal point?
Well, one of the things that I think is so great about the show and gives it kind of the texture that it has, and almost like a lo-fi quality, nostalgic quality to the form of the series. Most of the effects, the vast majority, were practical effects. So a lot of truly amazing and very scary costumes. Lots of us being in dark buildings with people in scary costumes. So no, I had the easiest job in the world. I was just faced with something horrific, and then
and you were scared, kind of no acting involved, I guess, right? Like, we would be like, oh my God, yeah, I would be like that. Now, do you like this kind of genre? Are you a fan of horror, like kind of sci-fi, this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I am a big fan. I'd say, growing up, sci-fi was sort of my area. My dad is a huge sci-fi addict, sort of I was brought up on the 2001s, the Dunes, Star Wars. That was, I think, in a big way, that was my sort of entry point to storytelling, was via sci-fi. And then, having said that, I adore the kind of smash genre that Nick and Simon have become so known for.
Yeah, they're so fantastic, those 2 guys. And I do want to, you do spend most of your time obviously with Nick and Samson, who plays Elton John, which I think is hilarious. But how do you not break into laughter, especially the scenes that you do have with Simon, because he's wearing this ridiculous wig, but they're such funny guys. I mean, I know they can be serious, and I know you have to get your work done, but there had to have been times where you guys just could not stop laughing.
You know what makes it truly unfair is that I've never seen Nick corpse. I've never seen him do it, but he will ruin a take for the rest of us. But I've never seen him crack, which is some form of evil, I think.
Yes.
It's an extraordinary power the man has. I think also my character is generally the straight guy, sort of straight guy to Nick and Samson's more like comic roles. I just say that makes my job harder. Yeah, don't be the straight guy to someone as funny as Nick and Samson.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do. You just got to do your job. Now, you also in this series is the great Malcolm McDowell. I mean, come on, like really, what was it like? He's hilarious in this. What was it like to have him around?
I mean, it was utterly surreal to find myself working next to Malcolm McDowell. That again is not something I would ever have guessed might happen. No, the man's amazing, and Jesus, his stories are just wild. Yeah, the people he's, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I ever got past the sort of you're working with a legend thing.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I ever lost the surname in my head when I would say hello, Malcolm. You know, like sometimes the like starstruck quality doesn't wear off, and I think that was probably one example.
I can imagine. Now, once you're shooting this show, I mean, it's a show, but do you believe in paranormal activity? Was there anything crazy that happened on set that you guys were like, yikes, sometimes that kind of stuff happens.
I am open, I would say. I'm happily searching and open. Was there anything on set that happened that was particularly spooky? We went to some pretty unsettling locations.
Yeah.
Abandoned schools, they have like a really strong feeling, I think. Right. Abandoned hospitals, also a very strong feeling. I did go for a little wander in the hospital actually, and found a sort of Victorian looking prosthesis, just leg leaning up against the wall. So if anyone's looking for that, I can tell you where that is.
Yeah, but it's creepy, right? Like, even though you're in these locations, I would think that you would get that feel.
You do. There's an energy about them. I think anywhere that, actually as a teenager, I really had that yearning for kind of abandoned spaces where that I don't know, it's when life has happened in this place, right? And now it ceases to, and there's just something spooky about it. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's funny too with your character, because she's on the run and everything. She gets to wear this one outfit the whole time. Like, were you ready to kind of burn it by the end of the show?
Well, so in the show I wear dungarees the whole time.
Yeah.
I also auditioned in dungarees. So, so arguably I was gifted my happy place. I think my gender ID is something like a sort of prepubescent boy. So I felt like utterly at home wearing dungarees for 12 weeks. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Now, Emma, I want to ask you, your background, of course, is in the theater, on the stage. And sadly, until this pandemic is over, it's really hard for us to get to live theater. And, I hope that gets back soon, because it's something I love to go to so much, and been to so many productions in the West End, of course. And but I want to ask you, when you're up there on that stage, what does that give you to have that live audience there, as opposed to working on a series? Obviously, you don't have that immediate feedback, but you must miss it so much.
I do miss it. I miss it hugely, and I'm scared for it, and I'm scared for the many people that I know who work in theatre, because I do think it's going to take some time before things start to look up, and before any sort of stability can be found again. I think the kind of one difference, or one significant difference when I perform live, is I love the fact that it's a communicative medium. Mm-hmm. That say I stand on a stage in front of you and do a thing. I'm not just gonna. It's not a matter of just sort of saying the lines what I prepared in my bedroom. It's about feeling you in the space, and knowing that we're sharing this space, and trying to give you what I think you might need, or what narratively you might need at this point. And I think that spectatorial performer sharing, I think it's amazing. I think it's really weird. I think it breaks all the social codes. Like, you sit down there, Bonnie, and I'm just going to get up here and I'm going to do a little bit, okay? Like, it's so weird. Like, what a weird thing to do. But I love it, and I love how embedded it is in our history. I have faith. I have faith that it will pull through, but I think it's going to take some time.
Yeah, no, I agree. It will. You're right. Okay, anybody in the world that you could stand on a stage against and do a play with, who would it be?
Oh my Lord. God. I don't know how to answer that question.
I know there's so many, right?
I just love actors. That's what makes this hard. I just think actors are amazing. I think what they do is amazing. I'm so enamored with the way that they like make vessels of themselves to tell stories, and so I just sort of love them all. So I've always been so amazed by the people I've got to work with. That I can only assume it'd be great regardless of who was up there.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it would be a great experience no matter who. Well, listen, you are so good in Truth Seekers. I really am enjoying this series. It's so different. It's so imaginative, and to have the opportunity again to work with Nick and Simon and this cast, like, wow, congratulations to you. I can't wait to see what happens to Astrid and and these ghosts. And it's just been such a pleasure to be able to talk with you today. And hopefully one day we will meet in person.
Yes. One day we will, and we'll embrace. And
yes, a big virtual hug.
It's lovely.